Hello, everyone. My name is Reggie. I've been playing chess for over 24 years. I'm unrated, and actually, I'm self-taught. I'm a self-taught player. My hero is Bobby Fischer. He's my hero, but I've also gone for a lot of games of Steinitz, my modern chess instructor. I've been through Paul Morphy's games of chess. So yeah, those are the sort of guys that I like. But Fischer was my sort of hero, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I studied Bobby Fischer deeply. Some of the moves I could understand, some of them I couldn't. So yeah, like I said, I'm self-taught, but Bobby Fischer was where I started. Then I went through the other guys, and I kind of enjoyed their games as well. I saw different styles, and yeah, I thought it was very interesting to see different styles of chess. But yeah, so I'm self-taught. Um, uh, I've developed after I went through Fischer's games. I sort of developed a style that is entirely my own. Um, Now, Stockfish is very, very interesting because the experts say Stockfish 18 is unbeatable, and I wanted to test that. So I played against Stockfish 18, the model that was released this year, 20 was it January this year, 2026, yeah, this year. So on April the 25th, 2026, I played the latest model, this game that I'm about to show you. From this model, this game that I'm about to show you, at its maximum strength, 3,500 ELO, thread level set to 6, and a thinking depth of 20 seconds per move. I just wanted to play it at its strongest level so that if I won, which I did, if I won, there'll be just no argument. There'll be no room for doubt or anything. No handicap. Played it at its full maximum strength. So yeah, that's what I did. So Stockfish really was fully armed. I've always believed that the created cannot be greater than the creator. I used a neutralization method to simplify the board and paralyze Stockfish's logic. People call it a glitch, or they may call it a bug. The experts can use these terms. They call it a glitch, a bug. Uh, Position where the calculation failed because it is stalled on move 25 and timed out. So I say let's look at the motherboard because it's just one of my idiosyncrasies. I look at chess as like a motherboard that has a problem and you need to fix it, and it's just me. It's just my way of so don't mind that. That's just how I talk about chess. So yeah, so let's take a move by move analysis of the game. So I explain it the best way I can, and I'm sure all you chess players out there, you chess fans out there, you have your own. Some of you are very technical. There's certain technical languages that you use to describe moves, but this is I'll explain it in my own way, but I'm sure you'll understand. So here we go. I open with e4. They call that the king's pawn, I think, and Stockfish replied with e5, mirroring me. I developed my knight to what's it, f3. Yeah, I've chess notation. Yeah, you have to get used to it, and I know that you guys are gonna give me some comments. But this is like I said, I'm not a rated player, but I love chess passionately, and I've played for many years now. So anyway, I go to knight f3, which I think is a book move. Um, Stockfish 18 develops and defends with its with knight to c6. I go bishop to b5, the Ruy Lopez. Now let me explain something to you here. I'm not playing it because it's the Ruy Lopez. I'm playing it because I believe that that was the strongest move. So I immediately, attacked the knight. Bishop b5. He played knight f6. I think they call that the Berlin defense. And immediately, I attacked the bishop. Sorry, I attacked the knight on c6, and I removed that defender immediately. Stockfish replies with it captures back, and it opens its lines, and then I take knight. The knight takes the pawn on e5, It takes the central pawn. And then we have queen coming to d4. It attacks my knight and the e4 pawn. So I retreat the knight to safety. Yeah, I know he's going to take one of those. So, this is just how I see the board. I know he's going to attack the pawn on e4. The knight f3 is also it's like a counterattack, even though whatever happens, he's going to take the pawn. So I retreat the knight to safety. Queen takes e4, takes a pawn, and checks my king. And then, what do I do here? I offer the queen trade to neutralize its power. It accepts the trade, so that queen takes e4 on move 14. It takes it takes the pawn back on. Sorry, it's move 7. Sorry, what am I saying? Yeah, move 7. It takes a pawn. It takes a queen on the 7th move, and then I take it back with my king. So that's I recapture the queen. The queens are off the board, and then I believe his knight is centralized to Nd5, and immediately I see that threat. I'm thinking, I cannot win a calculation against Stockfish, so it's better for me to trade. So this is how I'm telling you the process of how I think and how I played the game of chess. So I developed my knight to challenge it. Okay, and Stockfish replies with bishop g4. It pins my knight, and immediately, because I could see I'm a bit under pressure here, and I trade off the knight. This knight, I see a bit of a danger because I see it was going for the c2 pawn. So I trade off the knight there, and Stockfish recaptures, keeping a solid center. And then immediately I attack with h3 I'm challenging the bishop, and the bishop retreats. And then I bring my rook to the open e file. I can see that Stockfish it tries to solidify, it's trying to solidify its structure. And so what I do is I move my king. I move my king to f1, and I deliver as what they call a discover check. Its king moves to safety, and then I move d3. So I'm opening lines for my bishop. You can see my bishop on c1, so I'm opening lines for my bishop. And we see here b5. Stockfish attacks with, expands on the queen side with b5. I bring my bishop I develop my bishop to d2. And Stockfish pushes for more space, a5, on the flank, on the queen side. I try to stop its advance with with a3, and it attacks again the center with c5, and I strike back in the center. So I'm striking back in the center, and it seems like it doesn't want to trade there. It closes the center. I push b3. I challenge its pawn. Whatever happens, that pawn is coming off, because I feel like it's just far too advanced into my territory as I see it. This is the way I see chess. So, like I said, I'm not. I've never had a coach. I've never trained with anybody. This is just all self-taught. So you may call me an intuitive player or something like that. I don't know. Most probably, I suppose I would probably fit into that category. So yeah, I push b3. I challenge its pawn chain, and the bishop comes down. It develops its bishop to f5, and I train. I take the pawn on c4, and Stockfish takes back with its d pawn. It recaptures, and then I solidify my structure, or at least I'm trying to. I'm trying to keep those pawns together. See that pawn storm on the queen side? I mean? It kind of looks frightening, and I'll be honest with you, I was kind of panicking. It's just me. I'm very nervous. I'm one of these players. I'm very, very nervous, but I'm still thinking all the time. So I'm just trying to survive, really. And so, yeah, I solidify my structure, and then it pushes on the king side, like a pawn storm on the king side as well. Wow, this pawn's coming down, you know. So I try to make space for my knight on f3. So I reposition my bishop, and Stockfish replies with bishop d6. It develops his bishop. I take the long diagonal with bishop b2. You see that Stockfish is gaining space with the h5 move. And then I'm trying to reroute my knight. I want to move my king because I can see there's a check coming there on bishop d3. So I'm trying to reroute my knight. And as I said, there you go. It comes down. Stockfish 18 comes down with a check to my king. And I move my king to safety to g1. And then we have rook h. Stockfish moves his rook on his king side to e8. And then I make my final move to reinforce the position. In fact, I just wanted to trade off rooks, really. It was really survival more than anything. And right here, move 25, knight to f1. The machine stopped. It had 8 minutes left. I had about 6 minutes, 12 seconds. I watched the clock count down to 0. I mean, I was in shock, really. It was caught in a calculation loop, a total paralysis. I think it's something which they call the horizon effect. And, I was like, wow, they said you could never beat, a computer. And it's like, yeah, I was in total shock. I couldn't believe it. The Stockfish handed me a victory. Do you know what I mean? It went into this loop. I suppose all those billions of calculations it had, it just couldn't choose the right one. So yeah, I scored a technical victory against Stockfish. I just wanted to show you another thing. I think this will be very interesting. Yes, I just want to show you the what they call it, the game report. So yeah, don't let them tell you it's impossible. I'm an unrated player. I paralyze the world's strongest engine. I mean, look at this report. I put it out there so you can see for yourselves. Look at this report. I mean, the computer calculated its own defeat. So I mean, this is my gift to humanity. Don't ever let them tell you that this is impossible and it can never be done. It's possible.